it was of extreme significance.
The other significant factor is that this is not ufologists talking here. We have the Defense Intelligence staff carrying out their own investigation and admitting that the radiation readings were 10 times higher than normal.
One other document released in the Rendlesham files is this defensive press line issued by the MOD instructing the authorities how they should respond to the media. It states that MOD was satisfied that there was nothing of defense interest and there was no question of any contact with alien beings.
When I talked to Margaret Thatcher, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, about the subject of UFOs, she said, you have to have the facts and you can't tell the people.
We were told not to talk about it, so we didn't. What we saw out there was definitely unidentifiable.
In the southwest of England, just outside Somerset, there was another sighting. It was captured on videotape.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, I think it's coming this way. Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. Is it? It is. That's amazing.
The UFO that you saw originally was spotted approximately about 200 yards to the left of the aerial mast, and I suppose it was probably at about 500 feet up. It was very low in the sky.
And this is a radio communications tower?
This is radio communications. They've got 3 military masts on there, and it sends out, one is a navigational signal, which is used for aircraft. The other 2 aerials are near the top. We're not quite sure, but there is a pulsed frequency that comes from them. The actual UFO, from the time it was first seen by Rod Dickinson, who did the filming, it lasted approximately 12 minutes, so it was quite a long period of time for a daylight sighting to occur.
We took this tape to be analyzed by Lucasfilm's Special Effects Division, Industrial Light and Magic, in San Rafael, California. Here we met with Bill George, an Academy Award-winning visual effects supervisor. Over the last 20 years, his special effects have been featured in films like Star Wars, The Phantom Menace.
The optical zoom certainly would...
He analyzed this footage to determine its authenticity.
But there are several things that I see when the footage is running that tells me this was actually there when this was filmed. First of all, it's the shake. Okay. The shake. If you were to give me a background plate of just the sky and say, we want you to take this image of a flying saucer and match it in, that's something that's technically very difficult to do because you would have to match, putting the 2 elements together, you would have to match the shake. Now, certainly we have computers that can track that, but this is all over the map. A couple other cues that tell me that this is actually there when it was being filmed was that it's going in and out of focus with the background, because the camera is trying to compensate and trying to focus, probably have some sort of autofocus. So the background is going in and out of focus along with the object. There are these dark things flying through frame, and if someone was to have to put that in there, they would have to composite it in behind the birds. It would be a technical problem.
Bill George couldn't say it was a real UFO, but he could confirm for us that the object was not added in later.
Given those clues, I'm convinced that this object was there when this person was taping.
In 1968, the UFO subject was being debated at the highest levels of government. The debate was triggered by a major sighting over the state of Michigan.
I could see the light on either side, and then the red light was sort of casting a glow over the whole thing, so it looked like a round disc.
When it got to the top of the trees, it stopped, and a blue and a white light come on it.
Good evening.
Walter Cronkite reported the incident on CBS.
Residents of the area saw it. The police saw it. Sergeant Newell Schneider of the Sheriff's Office remembered it well enough to draw it.
What do you think it was?
Well, if they call it a flying saucer, that's what it is.
The Air Force sent its consultant, Alan Hynek, in to review what had been going on. And Hynek, after about 1 or 2 days on the field, had to face a big press conference. He said, well, I don't know what was going on. It may have been marsh gas.
A little bit of swamp light appears here. It goes out. Another one appears over here. That goes out then. But the illusion, as viewed from a distance, is that the objects have moved back and forth.
The public was absolutely furious, and the press kind of made fun of it. And Congressman Ford of Michigan thought would take action, and he called for public hearings by the Armed Services Committee.
This matter should be brought from...
In a recent exclusive telephone interview, President Ford confirmed his involvement in the investigation.
I undoubtedly wrote Chairman Mendel Rivers of the Committee on Armed Services that such an investigation be taken.
Congress heard testimony from a number of witnesses. Former Marine Corps Major Donald Kehoe asserted that there was far more to UFOs than swamp gas.
In fact, the Air Force at one time had a top-secret estimate that these things were interplanetary spaceships.
To date, we have over 10,000 cases at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, of which 646 of these remain unidentified.
The Air Force has been accused from time to time of hiding information about UFO. What do you have to say to that, Colonel Taffy?
Well, these charges are absolutely untrue.
The Air Force continued to maintain that it was hiding nothing.
And we've always honored accredited media when they want to investigate a given specific sighting.
There's nothing to hide.
There's nothing to hide at all.
Now, this is not an attack on the Air Force spokesman or the project spokesman. They are simply following orders to explain away all UFO sightings as quickly as possible when they become public and deny that UFOs really exist.
So it was pressure from Congress that led to the start